Sam.
And I am Tara, and this is our tiny house. We're gonna start inside first, so come with us.
So this is the inside of our tiny house, and me being the detail-oriented person that I am, I'm going to go through some of the stuff that I really wanted in the tiny house for myself. So we have this area. I really wanted a spot where we could put our laptops and computers and be able to just do the things that we do. And this is also where we eat. And if you want to pan underneath here, we have a fancy little spot for our power supplies and cords and stuff to go, so that they're kind of out of the way and you don't see them. And so this area in the living room, Tara kind of had some design ideas that she wanted as well. So we made the exposed beams underneath here that we stained, and she wanted the string light, so we have that tied. It's just a plug up here tied directly to a switch that we can turn off and on, and we can replace the bulbs and stuff as needed. So also something we wanted was a little bit more height on this loft side, because I'm kind of tall, I'm 6'1", and I wanted to be able to walk underneath it without feeling like I was going to hit my head, which is also why we left it exposed underneath, just to give you the feeling of an extra 5.5 inches of height right there. And then we actually have a built-in spot over here because we temporarily kind of have two cats here, and we have a fan that vents straight to outside to keep, you know, the smell out.
We get asked a lot why we decided to do a ladder instead of stairs, and truly the main reason was we wanted enough counter space we could get. Yeah. We really want to be able to sit here with each other. As you can see, we don't have a fold down table that a lot of people have, which is very cool. And we talked about doing that with this, but we love the continuation of the butcher block. This is our loft space. As you can see, I'm really short and I can touch my head to the ceiling. But again, just utilizing space is so important. And one of the things that we were okay with compromising on was the fact that we're not going to be up here in the space very much. You know, we're not going to always be sitting up here and hanging out up here. It is a great space. This huge window is beautiful. But again, Sam really wanted to be able to live well downstairs and not have to have that, whenever he walks underneath the living room, have the issue of hitting his head. So that's why we are okay with having a little bit of a sort of treehouse kind of feel up here about waking up and having to be careful. Originally, we're going to put our bed facing this way. So the pillows and everything, the headboard type thing was going to be down here. But thinking through it, we were putting a window right there, and I didn't want to wake up with not being able to look out and see everything. So we ended up pushing it over here. We have can lighting going through the entire house. Sam put all of that in. And I am partial to the ceiling because I stained the ceiling, this entire ceiling. I stained it. I feel like such an empowered woman. It took about a week and a half to stain all of this ceiling, but it was so worth it, and it's so beautiful. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the entire house.
So my primary reason starting out was because when we first moved to this area, we were planning on building a full-size regular house, and that didn't really pan out, so we decided to build a tiny house after we went to a tiny house convention and saw a bunch of not so great tiny houses. But so we decided we could probably make it work, design something that we liked, and then so mine was kind of more financial reasons to maybe build this one with cash that we had, use this time to save money, and just try to make a good early on in life financial investment in something. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that also, the simplicity of living tiny with even later on when we actually do get a full-size house for when we have children and stuff, at least it gives us an idea of the things that we actually need that are essential, and I think it helps our mindset. Tara did not want to live in a tiny house, and so we sold it.
To be fair, though, we were dating. We had not gotten married yet, so I had not lived with anybody.
Yeah. And
so when he was like showing me this house, and we were painting it, and he was like, "Well, do you want to live in it?" And I was like, "No." And then flash forward to 3 years into marriage, and we were like, "We're gonna build a tiny house," mm-hmm. And so it all comes full circle. I mean, how cool is it to say that you've lived in a tiny home, and to say that you have lived intentionally and that you have just gone full force into this, and gave it your all. I definitely think that the tiny house community gets a lot of flack for being hippies or you know, just the outdoorsy, like all they want is just to travel, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I see the appeal now. You know, we love it, and I'm kind of sad, you know, I never really want to move out of this house. Like, this is just such a sweet time in our lives. Yeah. But for me, really, it was just a new adventure of, this is something so new and so amazing, and could potentially help other people in the future if Sam and I did decide to make this a business venture. But for Sam, it was definitely the financial side. I mean, we saved so much money living in this house. It's incredible. Yeah. So that's our why we live tiny. Look at this. Wow, look at that. Bet you never thought you could have anything like that in your tiny house, but you can, at the low price of, I don't remember. It can fit, like, if you've ever been to Starbucks, there's a venti sized cup. It can fit one of those in there, and Sam and I were like, when do we ever put anything massive in our microwaves, like ever? Unless you're untrustworthy and you do like the turkey thing at Thanksgiving. We also love our oven. It works really great. It's really nice. So I didn't want to sacrifice on countertop space. I love to cook. It's something that I did not want to have to do away with. So lots of countertop space, lots of prep spots. We really wanted open shelving, and I have gotten questions on why I don't have plates on my open shelving, because usually that's why you have open shelving, to make it a little bit more easily accessible for things that you always have access to, which would be plates that are normally in cabinets. So I put them in here. This is where we keep all of our plates, which we just thought was a really simple way to, like, keep clutter off of everything.
So I'm going to talk about some of the plumbing stuff and our washing machine. I'm a plumber. I've been a plumber since I graduated high school pretty much, and I installed a lot of plumbing fixtures, so I knew kind of exactly what I wanted in the house since, you know, years ago. So I already had a preconceived idea of, you know, what I was going to spend, because these are actually pretty nice fixtures that I put in here. The sink is a granite composite sink. I don't remember what size it is. I think it's 30 inches. So we've got a water filter on the cold side so that we can actually have nice filtered water, because where we live is not the greatest water. And then moving on to the washing machine. This was actually a pretty big spend for us, but we like it for the most part. It tends to shake a little bit when it's on its dry cycle.
Not even shake. Like, it doesn't just
like
shake. It shakes the tiny house.
Yeah, and so I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's something wrong or if it's just the way it is, but it could just be because it's on a trailer and it doesn't have like a normal foundation to sit on and do it. But I see a lot of people use this, so maybe everyone deals with it. I don't know. Yeah. But we do like it a lot. We haven't had any issues from it, and some people say it doesn't dry all the way, and it's just because it's a kind of, it washes and dries in the same cycle, and it just maybe feels a little bit damp when you first take it out, but it's totally dry, so we haven't had any problems with it. And then kind of going back to the plumbing, it's all PVC pipe underneath, and all the PEX is a grade A PEX pipe, which is pretty much the best you can get. And I'm very meticulous when it comes to that stuff, so, and I have pictures of that stuff too before we covered it all up, and I put a lot of time into it, so it's all done right and well. So we're on the outside of our tiny house, and we built it on an 8'6" by 28-foot long trailer. We have a Rinnai tankless water heater, which we like a lot. I mean, we don't have to worry about taking long showers basically, except for the gas propane tank that we have. But this one lasts us when Tara started taking less hot showers over the summertime. And we've had this one for almost 2 months now, I think. Because pretty much the only thing that's propane in the house is the water heater. Over on this side, we have where our power cord connects in. This is our Wi-Fi tower, which we had to have because of the area that we live in. That's the only way we could get internet, which I don't like necessarily, but that's pretty much what we had to go with. And then right now, we just have the sewer coming out with hard pipe PVC because I don't really like the RV connections as much. You know, if we build another one, we'll just make it a standard RV connection, but for how long this one was going to be here, we just decided to hard pipe it with PVC just to make it a little bit better of a clean installation. So this is where the outdoor unit sits for the mini split. And this brain actually comes with you have an optional bracket that you can attach it to the side of a building. And so that's what we use right here. We have the disconnect and everything on the outside. And this is where the line sets come in over here.
And so we live on this beautiful hill. It's amazing, and we live just a little bit outside of Waco. So when we did this area, we really wanted to sort of use what we had. So again, using what you have is very important. Don't break the bank if you can't. If you can, break the bank. That's great. That's all up to you. But if you can't, use what you have. All of these rocks that you see, even the huge ones, were all on this property. We found them in the woods.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. We live on a rock hill is what we call it. And these plants, these are more like native to Central Texas, and they will sustainably be able to survive in the heat that we have.
It took us about 9 months to build it, and we've lived in it for about 9 months. We did about 90% of everything that you've seen. The only things that we didn't do was the spray foam insulation, the tile, and the faces on the cabinets. My dad helped draw the framing stuff. We came up with the design together, and then he drew up the actual framing diagram because he's been in construction for a long time, which I have too, but he's been in it a lot longer. And so he helped design that stuff, and he was pretty much our, I guess, brains behind the operation, getting the whole thing started, until I got to stuff that I could handle a little bit easier.
I really wanted this to be a homey space. I wanted this to be like a house. The string lights and the plants and the open shelving. Not only was it intentional for to be beautiful, but also intentional for living here. So I'm going to show you this closet because we talked about how we have this amazing washer dryer combo. So Sam, you're going to have to get a really interesting angle on this. We would have loved to have had more time to really dig into this closet design and make it a little bit bigger and put a spot in for shoes, but we didn't really have a whole lot of time for that. So shoes are down here, clothes are up there, and if you're short like me, you struggle on the daily to get your own clothes out. We keep that right here. So
there you go.
Look at me go.
Now she's normal height.
Yeah, but I'm too impatient and I never use the stool because I don't want to take it out. A lot of people ask, is that all the clothing you have? It's not. We keep folded clothes down here. This is my drawer, and I'm not showing you Sam's drawer because it is horrible. It is horrible, and I love him. This is our sink situation. We have a vessel sink. Sam did all the plumbing for it, and it is amazing. We did a normal toilet. I'm going to talk to you guys like this, mainly because we did a normal toilet, mainly because we really just didn't want a composting toilet. We didn't have any issues, and we've heard that they're amazing, but composting toilets are so easy to install that we were like, well, if we ever need one, we can just put one in, and it won't be an issue if we ever wanted one, or if we ever did end up selling this house, somebody wanted to add one in, that's easily doable. So we also wanted to talk about challenges of living tiny. Which there definitely are, and I feel like there's a stigma around tiny house living that it's either impossible or there's so many challenges that they just don't tell you, so we want to kind of delve into that. What about you?
So one of the harder things for us, at least for us personally as a married couple, is not having a separate space for us to be able to get away and do something just by ourselves.
Yeah.
If it's not outside, which in the summertime is kind of hard in Texas because it's pretty hot, even in the shade. So especially late at night, if I want to stay up late and she doesn't want to stay up late, then it kind of makes it difficult either with light or noise or whatever, which, some of it could be resolved with earplugs or something like that,
Yeah.
but still, it is a challenge.
Mine is cleanliness. It is really difficult with 2 fur babies. And maybe some of my tiny house people out there can give me some tips, but it is difficult to keep this place clean. We really love the shiplap look. We love the trim at the bottom, but it is an every week getting in there, cleaning everything. There's cat hair everywhere.
Well, the nice thing though is that there's no carpet at all.
True.
So there's
True.
no place for it to stick permanently or be hard to get out or anything. We
Definitely.
can clean everything
We
up
can
pretty
clean
easily.
everything, that is a blessing.
Yeah.
There. If you want to pan to this area, so we had a lot of amazing, the cat, we had a lot of amazing plans for this space. But really one of the big things about our tiny living story is we did not take a loan out to build our dream house right off the bat. We wait until we have the income and then we get moving with what we can do. So anyway, just reiterating a lot of this, all that to say, again, just reiterating, if you're wanting to go tiny and you don't have the income and you don't have the budget, or you don't want to take a loan out for however much money you're willing to spend on a tiny, just do it in segments if you can. If that is possible for you, do it. It's worth it. Some of the design, like the couch, you know, we want a different couch. And some of the areas that we haven't had a lot of love put into yet is because we just don't have the money yet, and we will, and it will all be okay. So don't let yourself get discouraged with the amount of money that you do or don't have. Just use what you have, get creative. We are Sam and Tara of Our Simple Pursuit on Instagram, and this was our tiny house tour and talk.
Yeah.
Bye guys.
Bye.